Welcome to Inconvenient Truths. I'm your host, Jennifer Zeng. Remember last time I said that billionaire investor George Soros' attacks on CCP head Xi Jinping and the world's largest asset manager BlackRock are very much related to the CCP's fierce internal power struggle? Well, today I have some explosive news for you. The power struggle is real, and there was even an assassination attempt to kill Xi Jinping by a former police chief in Jiangsu Province in China. Quite explosive, right? Let me tell you all about it from the very beginning, and please be a little bit patient, as there could be some figures you are not familiar with. But after I present everything, the full picture will become crystal clear, I promise. Now let's go to our first talking point today. Several days ago, on September 14th, one of China's main web portals called NetEast published an article called "The Iron Fist Smashes at Those Who Lost Their Minds Because of Greed." Let me show you the search result for this article. I think I need to share this screen for you. So here you can see the search result in Google for that article title in Chinese. And the first result is from QQ.com. That is also a very large website in China. But if you click on this article, the Chinese says the page you are visiting does not exist. So you can see this article is removed. But the good news is, whenever I encounter something that is sensitive, that could be removed later, I always archive the article. So this is the archive copy of that article I managed to save before it got deleted. So basically, this article says that the CCP Central Commission for the Discipline Inspection and the Disciplinary Inspection Commission of the Ministry of Public Security, as well as leaders of Jiangsu Province, held a meeting to brief the problems of Luo Wenjing, the former police chief of the Criminal Inspection Department of Jiangsu Province. Now let me show you a picture of Luo Wenjing. So this is the picture of Luo Wenjing. Actually, Luo Wenjing had already retired in July 2018. That was 3 years ago. Then 2 years ago, after he retired, on July 21st, 2020, the CCP Central Commission for Discipline Inspection issued a one-sentence notice saying that he was under investigation for serious violations of the law and discipline. Then, on March 3rd this year, the CCP Central Commission for Discipline Inspection issued a notice saying that he was expelled from the party for serious violations of the law and discipline, with his illegally gained properties confiscated, and his case has been transferred to the prosecutorial organs for further criminal investigation. The violations listed in the notice include losing his pension and aspiration, deviation from the principles of the party, not being loyal to the party, accepting bribery, using his power in exchange for money, etc. When those announcements were made, nobody really paid any attention, as Luo Wenjing is only a relatively low-level CCP official, and there are too many corruption cases in China, so nobody thought his case needed any special attention. However, the report, or the deleted report, several days ago revealed something astonishing. about Luo Wenjing's case. Now let me bring this brings us to our next topic. So about the illegal gang of Luo Wenjing and his planned misconduct. So that deleted report said that Luo Wenjing had formed an illegal gang within the legal system with, let me show you a picture. So with this guy called Deng Huiling, he is the former police chief in Chongqing City, and another guy called Lai Xiaoming. He is a former chairman of the board of China Huarong Asset Management. This guy recklessly discussed or criticized the major policies of the central government, insulted the key leaders of the country. They even planned a misconduct, or you can also translate it as they act against the law or wrongdoing during a ceremony event in Nanjing City, but their plot was prevented from being carried out by the national security officers. So the report also mentioned that Luo Wenjing and his thugs even threatened the personal safety of officials from the Central Commission for Discipline Inspection, the Ministry of Public Security, the Ministry of State Security, and the Military Intelligence. They even dared to confront and curse personnel who were investigating their case, etc. And so as this report was published and then deleted, people started debating and discussing what on earth was going on. Why was a provincial level former police officer so outrageous? And what was the misconduct they planned and against whom? So, well, a Chinese language YouTuber and a commentator called Tang Jingyuan figured the following out, and I agreed with him. So first of all, who was the target of the misconduct? If we check all the events happening in Nanjing City, there is only one that has been attended by national level leaders, and that one event is the National Public Memorial Ceremony to commemorate the Nanjing Massacre on December 13th of each year. So by the way, the Nanjing Massacre happened over a period of 6 weeks, starting on December 30th in 1937. During the Second Sino-Japanese War, it was estimated that 40,000 to over 300,000 Chinese were killed during the Nanjing Massacre. So starting from 2014, each year on December 13th, a national public memorial ceremony was held. Let's watch a video of this ceremony.
严肃穆，现场国各界代表胸前佩戴白花，静静肃立。
So this video is a report by the CCP's official channel CCTV or China Central TV, showing Xi Jinping and other national leaders attending this ceremony. If we check every year's report, we find that from 2014 until now, Xi Jinping only attended this event twice, once in 2014 and once in 2017. And the video you are watching is from that year, that's 2017. For all the other years, only much lower level CCP leaders attended. And the report about Luo Wenjing especially mentioned that Luo and his thugs recklessly discussed or criticized the major policies of the central government. It is very reasonable for people to assume that the leader Luo Wenjing and his thugs wanted to target was Xi Jinping, as the phrase recklessly discussed or criticized the major policies of the central government was crafted by Xi Jinping himself. Also, if we check Luo Wenjing's resume, which is available on the two notices about him, we can find that Luo became the political consultant of Criminal Investigation Department of Jiangsu Province in 2014 and was promoted to the chief of the same department in 2015. So, in 2017, Luo was at the peak of his power and was a provincial level officer. So, if he really did plan to carry out some misconduct toward Xi Jinping, the best opportunity was in 2017, as he was the police chief of Jiangsu Province, while Nanjing is the capital city of Jiangsu. So wouldn't Luo have a very good chance when he himself was in charge of the security task for the National Public Memorial Ceremony, right? So if this really is the case, the problem is what kind of benefit could Luo have for committing such a risky misconduct as a lower level police officer? To understand this, we must look at the other two people mentioned in the deleted report. And one of, let me get rid of this. So one of his thug members is Deng Huilin. Let me show you a photo. So yes, so Deng Huilin, who was the director of Police Bureau of Chongqing City in 2017 and became the vice mayor of Chongqing in January 2018. And another one is Lai Xiaoming. We've seen his picture before. He was the chairman of the board of China Huarong Asset Management in 2017, but was removed in 2018 to be investigated. On January 5th this year, he was sentenced to death for bribery, corruption, and bigamy, which means he married more than one woman. He appealed against his death sentence but failed. So he was executed on January 29th this year, only 24 days after he was sentenced. I remember people were very shocked and wondered why he would be sentenced to death and killed so soon, as there were so many other corruption cases in China and other people's punishments were far less severe. For Deng Huilin, what's special about him is that he was once the director of Police Bureau in Chongqing City. In the past 10 years, 4 directors of the Police Bureau of Chongqing City were removed from their post, and all of the 4 directors, at least 2 of them, were involved in coup attempts, including Wang Lijun. So this is a picture of Wang Lijun. I'm not sure whether you have heard about Wang Lijun's case back in 2012. That was quite a dramatic event. As the then vice mayor of Chongqing City, Wang Lijun escaped overnight from Chongqing, drove all the way from Chongqing City to Chengdu for hours to seek political asylum from the US consulate in Chengdu. I heard from one of my sources in China that in order not to be caught, Wang Lijun changed cars on the way for 4 times. And at one time, he even hid inside a car beside the road that was just involved in a traffic accident and asked others to continue to drive so that the people who were chasing him were led away. Before he entered Chengdu, he got out of his car and walked around the toll booth, and another person drove through the toll booth before picking him up later. So that's how dramatic his escape was. I think after he successfully entered the US consulate in Chengdu, he had caused quite a diplomatic headache for both the US government and the CCP. Anyway, the US government, with Obama as the president and Hillary Clinton as the Secretary of the State, decided to hand him back to the CCP. Then, 6 months later, in September 2012, Wang Lijun was sentenced to 15 years and is still in prison now. Now let's go to our next talking point. So why did Wang Lijun run away from Chongqing City and sought asylum from the US? Because he had a falling out with his boss, Bo Xilai. Now let's see a picture of Bo Xilai. So Bo Xilai was the CCP head at Chongqing City then, and a member of CCP's Politburo, effectively China's ruling council. It was very well known that he had the ambition to become the next leader of the CCP. At that time, Xi Jinping was not the CCP leader yet. So Xi Jinping was Bo Xilai's main competitor then. So after Wang Lijun failed from his defection attempt, Bo Xilai was removed from his post and expelled from the CCP and was sentenced to life in prison in 2013. Apart from his official crimes announced in his judgment, everyone in China knew that his main real crime was his coup plot against Xi Jinping. Wang Lijun's escape had exposed his ambition. Well, I hope that you have not been confused by all the unfamiliar names and old stories. Now let's go to our next talking point. But for anyone who is familiar with the CCP's power struggle, the clue is quite obvious here. Luo Wenjin's relationship with Deng Huilin, also a vice mayor of Chongqing City, just like Wang Lijun, makes people believe that Luo Wenjin was also involved in failed coup attempt, which involved an assassination plan. Also, the mentioning of Lai Xiaoming in the deleted report offers us a reply to the question as to why Lai Xiaoming had to be sentenced to death and executed so quickly for corruption. It is also worth mentioning that Lai Xiaoming was the first person who was executed since Xi Jinping started his anti-corruption campaign. So now we understand Lai must have also got involved with the assassination plan to kill Xi Jinping. If we look at the timeline of the different events, we can see that Lai was killed only 6 months after Luo Wenjin and Deng Huilin were arrested. This shows that Lai Xiaoming was the main figure in the assassination plan. That was why he was quickly executed. Then another question comes up. Why would Lai Xiaoming participate in such a dangerous affair? He was only the chairman and party secretary of an asset management company. In terms of his power or political status, he was even less important than Luo Wenjin and Deng Huilin. So why would he do such a risky thing? Then this brings us to our next talking point. The only explanation is that there are still bigger figures behind him. If we check a little bit about Lai Xiaoming's background, we can find that he came from Jiangsu Province and was very enthusiastic about building up his own human resource network based on people from the same province. A magazine of the CCP's Discipline Inspection and Supervision Commission once said that half of the employees of Rongchuan were from Jiangsu Province. And who else comes from Jiangsu Province? It is very well known that in the CCP's inner circles, there is a Jiangxi gang headed by former vice chairman of China, Zeng Qinghong. So, yes. So in our last show, this is a picture of Zeng Qinghong and Jiang Zemin. In our last show, we said that both Zeng Qinghong and former CCP leader Jiang Zemin are Xi Jinping's main political enemies within the CCP, and that Hong Kong is pretty much under Zeng Qinghong's control, and that was why Xi Jinping didn't care about killing Hong Kong as an international financial center, as the money made through Hong Kong mostly went into Xi Jinping's political enemies' pockets. And Lai Xiaoming was also one of Zeng Qinghong's Jiangxi gang. Actually, he became the chairman of Huarong through the recommendation of Liu Mingkang. So this is Liu Mingkang, he was the first chairman of China Banking Regulatory Commission and is also Zeng Qinghong's confidant. So now, the storyline has become very clear. This assassination attempt back in 2017 went up all the way to Zeng Qinghong and perhaps to Jiang Zemin too. So, as a matter of fact, even ever since Xi came to power and started his anti-corruption campaign, Zeng Qinghong and Jiang Zemin's people had always been the targets. Actually, before Jiang Zemin's successor Hu Jintao, this is Hu Jintao, was going to retire, Xi Jinping was chosen as a compromise between Jiang Zemin and Hu Jintao, because Jiang Zemin believed that Xi Jinping could be controlled and become his puppet, and he could continue to exert his political influence as in Hu Jintao's time and remain the actual supreme emperor of China. But it turned out that Xi Jinping didn't want to become a puppet. And because he didn't want to be a puppet, he must grab the real power from Jiang Zemin and Zeng Qinghong. So we can also say that the entire process of Xi Jinping's anti-corruption campaign was a process of him trying to grab power from Jiang Zemin and Zeng Qinghong. And this struggle is a matter of life and death for all the three of them. And the struggle is still going on today. So the assassination attempt of Luo Jingwen occurred under this kind of circumstance. It was not the first time, nor could it be the last one. So now, up to now, the highest level CCP official removed by Xi Jinping was Zhou Yongkang. So he was a member of the CCP's Politburo Standing Committee, that is China's highest decision-maker body, and also the party secretary of the Central Political and Legal Affairs Commission. He retired in 2012, the same year when Xi Jinping became the new CCP leader. And then 1 year later, in 2013, the CCP's Discipline Commission decided to investigate Zhou Yongkang's problems. Then, in 2014, he was disciplined and expelled from the party. And in 2015, he was also sentenced to life. for bribery, abuse of power, and leaking national secrets. Recently, Xi Jinping has been stepping up his efforts to fight corruption in the political and legal system, and a strange phenomenon has frequently emerged. That is, for 8 years since Zhou Yongkang was removed, the CCP authorities have been constantly shouting about purging the poisonous elements of Zhou Yongkang. Every time when a new CCP leader was targeted, he was said to be the remaining poisonous element of Zhou Yongkang. So people have been asking why on earth that Zhou Yongkang's remaining poisonous elements still haven't been completely cleaned up after 8 years. Actually, this is just one of Xi's power struggle techniques. People like Luo Wenjin might not really have any connections with Zhou Yongkang, but they are still referred to as Zhou Yongkang's remaining poisonous element because the phrase Zhou Yongkang's remaining poisonous element has become a special term to refer to a certain type of crime, and that crime is exactly the coup attempt, which was Zhou Yongkang's main crime too. Although bribery, abusing power, and leaking of national secrets were Zhou Yongkang's officially announced crime, people all know that his real crime was coup attempts. There is another reason why Xi Jinping has constantly talked about clearing up Zhou Yongkang's remaining poisonous element. That is, Xi Jinping doesn't want the outside world to see that he has so many different political enemies. So anyone who opposed him is classified as Zhou Yongkang's remaining poisonous elements. So, now let's go back to the deleted report we mentioned at the beginning. In less than 2 months, the CCP will hold its 6th plenary session, which will be a very important one given that the CCP will hold its 20th National Party Congress next year to decide who will be the next batch of leaders. Why was such a sensitive matter as an assassination attempt leaked at such a sensitive time by an official website through the form of a CCP's Discipline Commission briefing? The only answer is that the power struggle within the CCP has become so intense that an ordinary anti-corruption case isn't good enough to suppress the enemies. So the number one powerful crime, assassination and coup attempt, must be invoked to give out a strong enough warning message. So in this sense, we should not be surprised if we see some very high-level CCP figures get targeted or removed in the near future. Well, that's all for today. Before you go, please subscribe to and share my channel if you haven't. Please also watch and like my other videos. Leave us some comments to boost my programs. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.